And that's essentially the question that we're asking. Mr. Attorney General, check it out. Are the banks just hanging up the consumers and the depositors by their ankles, shaking them and just getting every nickel and dime out of their pockets that they can?
So customers forced to pay up, and now some House Democrats are putting the hammer down. And Illinois Congressman Luis Gutierrez says that Bank of America's claim that new regulations forced it to hike debit card fees simply not adding up. A good congressman with me right now. What do you make of Bank of America saying it's these new laws and regulations that it and others will likely have to follow through with hiking fees on a variety of things? Debit cards, just the least of them.
Okay, so let's put aside one moment whether or not we should have approved $700 billion in TARP. Leave that to one side. They got it. The fact is, they were down here begging for the money. I remember Secretary Paulson saying, they kind of screwed up, Congressman Gutierrez.
You're absolutely right.
We have a crisis, right. Congressman Gutierrez.
But does it
and you know,
so they should accept this higher
so they
fee?
said, no, but I just want to put it, they said, please. And so here's what they did. After we bailed them out, I mean, they're pretty healthy. I mean, their books are now, you know, they're capitalized again. There isn't a crisis in terms of money.
I don't know if I'd call Bank of America healthy, Congressman. Your point is well-grounded that you're right. They went to the Trove and got money. But I wouldn't say they're off to the races.
Then they sent they said, hey, thanks a lot, America. Here's an extra $5 bill every time you want to use your money on a debit card.
All right, but if that's
how I look.
No, it's a fair point. And I agree with you that the whole bailouts back then and then to come back and claim poverty now.
That was then, this is now.
You're right, and I criticized it under President Bush, as I do now. But having said that, Congressman, do you risk, you know, throwing out the baby with the bathwater here? In other words, let's say you're right and that these companies should suck it up. What if they simply can't? What if there is another contagion that spreads beyond Europe? Now, Europe supposedly has its act together. We'll see about that. And it spreads to the United States. And just as it's spreading here, you're saying you can't raise money this way. Then what do they do?
Okay. Well, I'm happy that we passed the legislation, because now when they charge the $5, they got to tell you about it. That's why we all know, because of the new laws of transparency, right. Number one. Number two, that also allows consumers, and we should make it very easy for them to say, whoa, I really don't like that charge. Let me find another place, so that we have a market system that really works and
Fair
allows
enough.
consumers
and you know, that
to
is
pick
one
and choose.
good aspect of this whole Dodd-Frank thing. I know you're a big fan of it. I just think it's just gobbledygook. But that is one good thing. There's more transparency, so you can see how they're screwing you. I do admire that. Right. But I want to raise this. My theory on this, Congressman, is that the banks are like the airline industry a few years ago. They saw how much money they could make then in fees, you know, legroom fees, sure. Aisle seat fees, right. Going to the bathroom fees, you know, blanket fees, all the stuff.
Everything fee, I agree.
Right. And now the banks are saying, there's money to be made gouging people and nickel and diming them. So the airline said that was because all these requirements and federal edicts are such that they had to do this to raise money. And the banks are saying, well, we're no different than they are. What do you think?
I know. It's interesting. Blame the politicians, right? Why not dump on Washington, D.C., even though you're one of the big...
you make such a convenient target.
I know. So let's blame us because you want to profiteer. That's all I'm saying. And I agree with Congressman Welch in the sense that all we want to do is look into it, because it's okay if they want, I mean, it's legal. It may not be okay. It's legal for them to raise it, but they cannot, in collusion with others, coordinate, because that's illegal for them to do that.
That's good. So let me ask you this, sir. Then if Wells Fargo or some of these others follow suit with a similar fee for debit card usage or what have you, would that reek of collusion to you, or just, hey, look, they're making money that way, we're in?
Look, no, we have the industry memorandum that kind of says, hey, let's all do this together. This is the way. So that's all I'm saying is we have the memorandum, we have the response from the banking industry, and it looks like they were planning to do this together. Look, if you imitate bad behavior, that's not exactly collusion. It's when you have a conspiracy of everyone to do it at the same time, simultaneously, right? I don't know that they're doing that, but I think it is a good time for us to look into it. And all I say is, look, Bank of America's having a bad time. They're buying ads and they're being more generous over here. I mean, they're just like, they're doing everything they can to excuse this behavior. So if it was such a great behavior, I don't think they'd be apologizing quite as much as they are through their public relations apparatus.
Congressman, it's always good having you on. You speak
Have
your
me
mind.
back.
All right.
I look forward to talking to you.
Be well, my friend. All right, Congressman Luis Gutierrez in Washington. Well, the good news, bad news on housing. First, the bad news.